Your ChatGPT chat is about to be interrupted by a hot sauce ad. Yes, you read that right. The AI you use to write emails, plan trips, and settle arguments with your friends is now a billboard. And the guy who promised this would never happen is the same guy who just made it happen. If you've opened ChatGPT recently and noticed a small, quietly tinted box sitting under an answer with the word sponsored next to it, you're not imagining things. And you're not alone. Welcome to the new era of ChatGPT. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why this happened, how these ads actually work, what it means for your privacy, and what it means for the future of the internet as a whole. Let's rewind a little. Back in May 2024, at an event at Harvard, Sam Altman was asked point blank about the idea of mixing ads with AI. His answer was blunt. He said the combination felt uniquely unsettling to him personally, that he simply doesn't like ads, and that if OpenAI ever had to lean on advertising as a business model, it would only be as an absolute last resort. He even explained his reasoning. Ads, he argued, quietly shift a company's incentives away from serving the user and toward serving the advertiser. For a company built around a chatbot people are supposed to trust with deeply personal questions, that seemed like a dangerous trade to make. Fast forward 20 months, and that last resort arrived a lot sooner than anyone expected. On January 16th, 2026, OpenAI announced it would begin testing advertisements inside ChatGPT for logged-in adult users on the free tier and on the newer, cheaper ChatGPT Go plan. The paid tiers, Plus, Pro, Business, Enterprise and Education, were spared. If you're paying for ChatGPT, your experience stays ad-free. If you're not, get used to seeing sponsored content mixed into your answers. So why the sudden reversal? The honest answer is money, and a lot of it. OpenAI has reportedly committed something in the neighborhood of $1.4 trillion in infrastructure spending over the coming years, building out the data centers and compute needed to keep its models running and improving. At the same time, the company has been burning through billions of dollars annually, with estimates putting 2025's losses at around $8 billion. And here's the kicker. ChatGPT has somewhere around 800 million users, but only a small sliver of them, roughly 5%, actually pay for a subscription. When the vast majority of your user base isn't generating direct revenue and your compute bills are astronomical, the math starts to look a lot less philosophical and a lot more urgent. OpenAI framed the shift carefully. In its official announcement, the company said the goal wasn't purely about revenue. It was about keeping powerful AI accessible to people who can't or won't pay for it, while giving the business a sustainable way to fund that access. Altman echoed this on social media, pointing out that plenty of people genuinely like relevant advertising. The same way some people don't mind ads on Instagram if those ads introduce them to something they actually wanted. Now let's talk about how these ads actually function, because this part matters. According to OpenAI, ads appear as clearly labeled, visually distinct boxes, usually positioned at the bottom of a response, so they're not blended into the actual answer text. The company has repeatedly stressed three core principles. First, answer independence, meaning the ads are not supposed to influence what ChatGPT actually tells you. Your answer stays the same whether or not a sponsor is attached. Second, clear labeling, so you always know when something is sponsored versus organic. And third, privacy protection, with OpenAI stating that your actual conversations are never sold or handed over to advertisers, who instead only receive aggregated, anonymized performance data. Targeting works a bit differently than what you're used to on Google or Instagram. Instead of relying purely on keywords you've typed, ChatGPT ads use contextual matching, drawing on the topic of your current conversation and to some extent your chat history and past ad interactions to decide which sponsor might be relevant. So if you're deep in a conversation about home renovation, don't be surprised if a hardware store shows up at the bottom of the response. The rollout since February has moved fast, arguably faster than almost any monetization launch in software history. What started as a cautious American pilot expanded within months into a self-serve advertising platform opened up in May that let businesses set up their own campaigns with cost per click and cost per 1,000 impression bidding, no massive minimum spend required. Big agency names like Dentsu, Omnicom, Publicis, and WPP jumped in as partners. Major retailers including Best Buy, Lowe's, and Vistaprint ran early campaigns, with Best Buy specifically framing it as meeting shoppers in the exact moment they're researching a purchase, rather than waiting for them to type a search query into Google. By early July, ads were reportedly showing up in more than half of all free peer replies in the United States. And the international expansion hasn't stopped either, with the ad pilot spreading into the United Kingdom, Mexico, Brazil, Japan, and South Korea by August, with more countries expected before the year is out. Financially, the early numbers are striking. OpenAI reportedly pulled in around $100 million in ad revenue within just the first 6 weeks of the program being live. For a company under enormous financial pressure, that's not a rounding error. That's proof the strategy works. But not everyone is celebrating. The backlash to the announcement was immediate and loud. OpenAI's own post revealing the change racked up millions of views within hours, and the comment sections were filled with accusations of betrayal. One comparison that spread widely online pointed back at Google's original 1998 founding philosophy, which explicitly promised the company would never accept payment to influence search results. A promise that, in the eyes of many critics, didn't exactly age well. The implication is clear. Plenty of people worry that ChatGPT ads are the first domino, and that today's clearly labeled banner could slowly evolve into something far less transparent down the line. There's also a deeper, quieter concern floating around this shift. Instagram-style advertising works so well largely because those platforms know an enormous amount about you personally. If OpenAI is serious about keeping your actual conversations private from advertisers, how effective can this targeting really be compared to platforms that don't have that restriction? It's a legitimate tension. There's also the engagement question. Ad-supported platforms generally succeed by keeping you around longer. And longer time spent on any app isn't automatically a good thing, especially for a tool as deeply embedded in people's daily thinking and decision-making as ChatGPT has become. Some critics have pointed out that OpenAI has hired a significant number of former Meta employees over the past year. So where does this leave you, the everyday user? If you're on a paid ChatGPT tier, practically nothing changes for you. Your experience stays exactly as ad-free as it's always been. If you're on the free tier or ChatGPT Go, expect sponsored content to become a normal and increasingly frequent part of your experience, especially if you're in the United States or one of the newly added countries. And if you're a business owner or a marketer, this is a genuinely new advertising channel, one built around conversational intent rather than static search terms. And early adopters are already treating it as a serious growth opportunity. Whatever your opinion on this shift, one thing is undeniable. The era of the purely subscription-funded, ad-free AI chatbot is over, at least for the free tiers. And given how quickly this rollout has moved, expanding across countries and advertiser categories within just a few months, it's fair to expect ChatGPT ads to become as familiar a part of the internet landscape as search ads and social media ads already are. If this kind of breakdown is useful to you, do me a quick favor. Follow this page and hit that subscribe button on the channel so you don't miss the next video breaking down what's actually happening in AI, tech, and business. Drop a comment and let me know what you think. Are you okay with ads in ChatGPT if it means free access stays free? Or does this feel like the beginning of something you'd rather not see? I'll see you in the next one.